Hey all, welcome to ShareTrack. This is Raj here, guys. I'm so hopping mad today. I'm just reading about the Justice Department's proposal to break up Google by forcing to sell its Chrome browser and limiting its competitive practices. And it raises critical questions about the balance between promoting competition and preserving the spirit of free enterprise. Of course, full disclosure, I hold Google shares. I also hold Apple shares and Microsoft shares. So I'm divided across the place. But I'm also contrasting this to the bank bailout during the GFC, that is a great financial crisis. That was also a pig-headed move. So I'm going to put these things together and I'm going to give an idea of the way I'm looking at this and why I think it's a very wrong move on the part of the Justice Department. I would like to have your feedback, guys. Okay, let's get started. Well, friends, the Justice Department's proposal to break up Google by forcing it to sell its Chrome browser and limiting its competitive practices raises critical questions about the balance between promoting competition and preserving the spirit of free enterprise. While the intent is to curtail monopolistic behavior, the approach risks undermining innovative customer benefits and broader technological advancements, in my opinion. I would say that capitalism thrives on success and innovation. Google's dominance in search and browsers stems from years of innovation and its ability to deliver superior products. Chrome became the most popular browser because of its speed, ease of use, and integration with other Google services. And honestly, even if I'm on the Microsoft browser, I always go to google.com to do my searches. And the reason I do that is because the quality of the search result that comes out, even after Google puts in a lot of advertisements and everything, the quality of the search results are phenomenal as compared to even Bing or some other search engine. And I think that if a search engine is good, automatically people will go towards it. And if a search engine is bad, even if they pay $1 billion a year to Apple, to keep Google as a default browser, people will automatically go and change the default browser to something else which is much better. That has not happened. So basically, Google has been doing a great job with its browsers, and if AI helps some other companies to become successful in search, and Google loses its crown, so be it. That's the way capitalism should work. Penalizing success by mandating divestment could discourage companies from investing in innovation for the fear of antitrust actions once they achieve market leadership. And the Justice Department claims that Google has boxed out competitors through its default search deals, but these agreements also reflect consumer preference for Google's high-quality search engine. Or else it'll be like you paid somebody to vote for you, but you don't know whom they are voting for. They could still take your money, go inside and vote for somebody else. So that's the kind of situation I see that in. So even the fact that Google pays money for being a default search engine doesn't hold much water, because if clients don't like it, they will just change the default engine to something else. Breaking up Chrome from Google could lead to fragmented user experiences, diminished integration, and potential security risks, as Google highlighted in their arguments. These changes might harm users more than help them. Google's advertising ecosystem, which benefits from its integration of Chrome and search, supports countless businesses. Disrupting this ecosystem could have a ripple effect on small businesses reliant on Google Ads to reach customers. AI capabilities such as training data for its model could hinder the US in the global AI race, where other nations like China are aggressively advancing their AI agenda. Forcing divestitures and imposing stringent oversight of Google's Android division risks setting a precedent of heavy-handed regulation that might discourage investment in technology sectors. While addressing anti-competitive behavior is important, overly restrictive measures could chill innovation, not just for Google, but for the broader tech industry as such. Existing competition in the market is pretty good, and though Google holds a significant share in search and browser competitors like Microsoft, that is Bing and Edge, Apple, which is Safari, and niche browsers such as Brave and DuckDuckGo, They all provide alternatives. A monopoly is not inevitable in digital environment where switching costs are lower. There is no major cost involved in switching from one search engine to another for the customer. So the customer is free to choose whichever they want. The reason they choose Google is because Google is way better, head and shoulders above the rest. Penalizing that excellence is not a good idea. The broader implication of the Justice Department's approach is that though aimed at leveling the playing field, it could paradoxically stifle enterprise and innovation by penalizing companies for achieving excellence and giving away the advantage for free to others who have not invested and have not been successful in pursuing excellence. Capitalism encourages competition, but intervention should focus on fostering alternatives rather than diminishing successful enterprises. Encouraging innovations through incentives for competitors rather than imposing punitive measures on leaders like Google would align better with the principles of free enterprise. Google's response emphasizes these points, arguing that such measures could jeopardize user security, developer innovation, and America's technological leadership. While regulatory scrutiny is necessary to address genuine anti-competitive behavior, the approach must balance promoting fairness with ensuring that market leaders can continue to innovate and drive economic growth. Now let's add the example of the 2008 bailout of big banks during the great financial crisis, which I think is an excellent parallel to highlight inconsistencies in government policies. Just as Justice Department's action against Google risked undermining capitalism, the decision to bail out the big banks also muddled the principles of free enterprise, suggesting a confused stance between capitalism and socialism. And if you look at the 2008 situation, the government chose to bail out big banks instead of letting the market forces take their course. Banks that had taken on excessive risk were saved using taxpayer money, contradicting the foundational capitalistic idea that businesses must bear the consequence of their action, investors must bear the consequences of their action. Similarly, the Justice Department's move today against Google punishes a company for its market success rather than addressing the root causes of the perceived lack of competition. Both policies reflect a tendency to intervene in ways that distort free market dynamics. The bailouts created a moral hazard. By rescuing failing banks, the government signaled that large institutions would always be shielded from failure, encouraging reckless behavior in future. Forcing Google to divest its Chrome browser and imposing stricter control on its other businesses could set a dangerous precedent for penalizing successful companies, discouraging entrepreneurship and innovation across industries. Just as bailing out banks placed the financial burden on taxpayers and failed to directly address systemic issues like regulatory gaps or unsound lending practices, dismantling Google might burden consumers with fragmented services and less secure technology. This creates a situation where consumers pay the price for government overreach, and the government's action in both instances show a lack of clear commitment to either capitalism or socialism, leading to inconsistent policies that distort market outcomes. The banks during the financial crisis were saved in the name of protecting the economy, but it was small businesses and ordinary citizens who bore the brunt of the recession. Similarly, targeting Google may be framed as a way to protect smaller competitors, but the disruption of its ecosystem could negatively impact small businesses relying on Google's tools and advertising infrastructure. Both cases demonstrate a focus on headline-grabbing measures that address symptoms rather than the structural causes. And even if you look at Darwin's theory, it's the survival of the fittest. If you try to intervene in this, then you're going to promote inefficiencies. That's my personal opinion, and I'd like to hear from you guys what you think. Bailing out banks while allowing homeowners to lose their homes sent mixed messages about whose interests were being protected. Now, dismantling Google under the guise of fostering competition sends a message that success in capitalism must be punished if it becomes too prominent. Governments must clarify whether they intend to foster a genuine free market or implement a managed economy with heavy oversight, as oscillating between these two undermines the trust and stability and sends a mixed message to the investors. Both the Justice Department's actions against Google and the 2008 financial bailouts highlight a recurring issue: inconsistent government policy that blurs the line between capitalism and socialism. This intervention risks stifling enterprises, creating moral hazards, and distorting market dynamics. rather than targeting successful companies like Google or rescuing failing banks without structural reforms. The government should focus on enabling fair competition and addressing systemic issues through targeted, forward-looking policies. This approach would preserve the spirit of capitalism while fostering a more resilient and innovative economy. Then you'll say, Raj, it's good to criticize them, but what is the solution for these things? The solution is staring us right in the face. When the governments come out and say cigarette smoking is harmful for your health, why can't they just shut down the industry that creates cigarettes? No, instead they would like to take the advertising revenue, they will take tax revenue and all those things and continue to allow the industry to continue churning out all those toxic products. Same is the case with painkillers. If things go bad, they could just clamp down and stop the production of those things. And of course, the black market might come, but that can be managed by the Justice Department like they do other things. So they are not doing that. Another example, the way the government is right now and why most of the people are unhappy with the government, whichever government it might be. It may last for 4 years or 8 years, but people are absolutely unhappy with the performance because no government delivers what the voters want. And the reason for that is because all these industries are allowed to own senators and representatives and presidents because they bankroll the election, they bankroll the PACs, and the PAC is a very convenient way of putting a lot of money. Elon Musk put $45 million per month to elect Trump. Now he's going to demand his pound of flesh, and it's not going to be what the voters want. It's going to be more in terms of reducing the regulations on FSD, reducing the regulations on SpaceX, and all those kind of things, which is not going to help the consumer in any way or the citizen in any way possible. So the first thing they could do is they could outlaw this PAC system and make sure that one person, one vote principle goes ahead. The second thing is they could put a limit on lobbying, if not outright remove lobbying. They should put a limit on lobbying, and also they should probably qualify which are the kind of organizations that would be allowed to lobby. Is it going to be philanthropic organization? Is it going to be social organization? Or is it going to be for-profit commercial organization? So if they do those kind of things, we can have a much better level playing field in capitalism. Because in capitalism, the guy who takes the risk has to get the profit. And the guy who takes the risk has to face the loss. That is pure capitalism. There should be no mercy. That's my opinion. And as a retail investor, I suffer a lot for my decision. But if somebody is going to come and intervene and make sure that the big players do not get similar outcomes, then I'm not happy about it. And I'd like to hear from you guys. What do you think about it? Please put it in the comment section. And as full disclosure, I hold Google shares, I hold Microsoft shares, I hold Apple shares. So I'm coming at it from a pure capitalistic perspective. I think the Department of Justice is doing a wrong thing. I can't wait for the Trump administration to take over and get rid of this FTC and also get rid of this stupid Justice Department, which is not doing what it is supposed to do, and it's doing things that it should not be doing because it likes to punch down on people who can't punch back. If somebody was to punch back like Trump did, Justice Department becomes a kitten. So that's my opinion, my friends. I was absolutely hopping mad when I saw the article and I had to do this. So please let me know what you think. Thanks and have a great day. Bye for now.